Welcome to the Squirrel Circus podcast. I'm your host, the Rainbow Squirrel, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Sandy the Moss Guardian and Ian.
Hello,
And
Hello.
today
Hello.
we'll be talking about gods. So,
Gods. What
well,
are gods? What are gods?
what the
I
fuck
think.
are gods?
and why are gods?
And why are gods? See,
I'll do you
mainly
better.
why.
Why is Gamora?
Yeah,
Uh,
I guess it's a blurry topic, right? I think everyone has like a very different perspective of what a god is and very different reasons to believe in God or different gods. So yeah, we're gonna talk about that, explore the ideas of monotheism, of and the opposite of having many gods, and what might be better, what might be worse. Who knows? Who knows? Let's talk about it.
I mean, I think the most basic, and I don't mean basic in a bad way, but just the simplest way of thinking about a god is the creator of all that is. There's this idea that existence requires a mind of incomprehensible power to have created it. And that's the basic principle in Judaism, in Christianity, in Islam, and even in an Aristotelian sense, the prime mover of everything. So that would be like tier one of God. So what do y'all think about that?
Yeah, and I think it's I guess that's like the major way of looking at it, right? Or at least the way I feel the majority of people who believe in God kind of look at it. Um, like believing in an entity, right? An entity that is above all of us and that is watching us and that is has consciously created everything that we are and everything that is. But yeah, like it might go further than that, really. But
Mhm.
how?
And also, God is something that not only creates but also guides and takes and teaches in some religions. I'm not sure all, but they also have a tendency of this very wise entity, that and something that knows everything and sees everything, you know.
Yeah, it's interesting. How do we get into direct contact with this grand entity that created everything? And why would it care about our little planet with little creatures on it? There's also this idea that the same creator that made the whole universe also consciously engineered all life forms. That's creationism. And so what do you think about that?
So are we going to talk about our own interpretation or what we think is all interpretations, or what are we going for?
All of it. I think let's start with what most people understand and
Okay.
then move to us.
Well, I don't know. I think it leads to like various different beliefs, right? Like the idea you can look at it as the idea of the having actual alien life in the universe, right? If we do have alien life and the universe is vast enough to have different life forms and yep, wait. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. If we do have different life forms all around the universe, how you say, Squirrel, why would God focus on us, right? Why would He specifically choose us and not other life forms to look over? Then also, I guess the idea that God is like all powerful, He can be looking at every single life form at the same time. Uh, but it becomes like I just feel it becomes blurry, right? Like what would one base themselves on to believe one or another thing? I think that's what bugs me, and it leads me to try to look further than that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I mean, what do you guys think about that?
Like what I was taught when I asked my parents, like, what is God, or does it really exist? I mean, I go here to my story. I'm sure there are lots of stories of how God was introduced to their lives, no? But what I was told is that when people have these questions that cannot be solved, is when they create or they start believing in some entities that solve these questions for them, and that gives them immense uh, satisfaction of these questions. You know what I'm talking about? Like they don't
Yeah,
have to, because people are afraid of what they don't know, and if they cover that hole with an entity that was in charge of this, right? So they don't know how it happened, but they know it happened, and so they said it's an entity that did this, and that's how gods came to be, or that's my understanding of it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess to steer the conversation a little bit, one of these phenomena that is incredibly difficult to understand, and this is where the archetypes come in, is our own behavior. The things that drive us, that move us beyond sort of animal stuff like hunger or lust. What causes us to find meaning in, for example, in music, in art? What drives us to create and to innovate and to make tools and to search for meaning? And when we're trying to explain those things in our minds, it is at least pragmatically useful to personify the forces that are acting within us and to give them names and to describe sort of the unfolding of each of those forces. And maybe that's what gods are.
yeah, I think that makes total sense. I guess the looking at it from the perspective of trying to fill this gap of what we don't know, it's I find it pretty interesting how it leads to a clash, right? The famous clash between science and religion. The like science trying to use logic and trying to understand the universe and to understand matter and to understand physics and to understand energy and blah blah blah. And then religion that kind of doesn't really work for that, right? Or well, I personally feel that it doesn't really work. It could have worked like a long time ago when science wasn't as advanced as today to explain like why is the sun a thing, right? Or why is the moon a thing, or why is this a thing? And you just don't have a microscope, or you don't have the maths to understand it. And it's just easy to say like, yeah, God created it for this and this reason, right? But as science progresses, it seems to take things away from religion. But religion still seems to be relevant, right? With the amount of scientifical advancements that we have today, religion still seems to be relevant. People still seem to choose religion over science in many cases. And why is this? I think Rainbow Scroll kind of answered this question, right? It's more about the things that science just can't completely describe, right? And our own behavior, right? The way we act as not only as humans but as animals. It I guess that's where archetypes are necessary, right? To understand oneself individually and therefore understand oneself's place in this thing that is humanity, and this thing that is life, and this thing that is the universe. Purpose, right? Purpose is what science cannot give us. Purpose. Science always seems to reach a point where it can just keep going forward, where it just can't completely answer everything. There is always a reason for a reason for a reason for a reason.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's it, right? Purpose. We need purpose, and the easiest way to find purpose that we have found is religion, is archetypes, is imagining these entities that take control over us, right? That control us in a way that we cannot control ourselves. I don't know, what do you guys think about that?
I remember talking about this with you, Ian, and you made a very good point that I remember. You have to explain it, okay? I'm gonna tell you what it is, and then you explain it because it was
I'll
something
try.
like it was something like the it was more about religion than gods, but it was more that it was something like that people need this entity to give their power to choose to religion, and the religion is like a bank of, I don't remember the word exactly.
I don't know. I think I wasn't talking about power. I think I was
Hmm.
talking about freedom.
Yeah,
I don't know if freedom is a right word. I might be like getting
I
mixed
don't
in
know either,
semantics and
but
stuff,
it
but
really was.
yeah, it seems like the majority of humanity has a God-given freedom, right? A God-given liberty, but it seems like people don't know how to use this freedom, and people don't know how to administrate it, so they deposit their freedom in religion and church, and what they get back from this is faith, right? And an instruction to act and to see the universe or the world or existence as this written thing, right? And it's almost like a Lego instructive, right? How to just put the pieces together so that your life results in this beautiful masterpiece,
Mhm.
right?
I mean, I think I have something to add to that, which is
Please
it
do.
ties back to this idea of choice and freedom. And choices inherently imply values. The whole science of studying choices ultimately revolves around studying values. Because it's like, okay, are you gonna drink this thing or drink this thing? Which one do you value more?
Mhm.
And values are arranged in a hierarchy. Uh, Drinking from this bottle is better than this bottle because this one's going to give you more hydration. And why do you want more hydration? Because you want to live a good life. And why do you want to live a good life? And you can keep going like that until you reach the most fundamental values. And that is what any religious enterprise is aiming at, providing the most fundamental values upon which all other values rest on. And so the only way to navigate choice is through an understanding of the hierarchy of values, which is itself a religious thing.
Yeah, that makes total sense. That makes total sense.
Totally didn't plagiarize that from Jordan Peterson. That is 100%. No, no. Thanks, Jordan.
Shout out to Jordan Peterson.
Shout
Great
out
guy. um,
Uh,
I think the question now comes to where do religion comes up with these values, or how do people have found a way to dilute all the basic values into these primordial values? How does this happen? I mean, I have an idea myself, but I want to hear your ideas and see if they match in a way. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. So
There
what
you
is a
go. There you go.
primordial value?
No, how do religions find this primordial value? How do religions dilute all these individuals' values that humans have into these primordial values? Or, well, I don't know if primordial is the word. These values that we're talking about.
I think the way they do it is by distilling uh, stories that represent the archetypes across millennia and seeing like, okay, this story fits, this story doesn't fit. And through the stories that they start compiling into something like the Bible or, the Egyptian texts or the Mesopotamian texts, or even in oral traditions, what gets passed down, a certain, what's called an ethos starts to form, a
Mhm.
certain direction of the way of being that is appropriate. And that ethos itself starts pointing to a certain conception of the most fundamental value. That's
Okay.
that's kind of my understanding.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense. It seems like art is a big part of it, right? Like we see art as a big part of every single religion that we have seen. Um, I think you told me this once, Rainbow Squirrel, that every religion kind of is born from a song, right?
Yep,
From
that's right.
from a song and from a story, right? We see the Bible that kind of merges actual history with what seems to be fiction, or what seems to be like a more creative point of view to explain and to portray these primordial values, which is it's very interesting, right? I think it gives it really goes to show the importance that art has in humanity, that the ability to create and the ability to be creative has in humanity. I think that's the main reason I have decided to pursue music as a career, because through music I have found my own model of religion, I guess, where the whole discography of the world is a type of Bible, right? And where I listen to music not only as a filler, and not only as a backing track to my life, but also as a religious activity, right? I do not listen to music all the time. The same way a Christian doesn't read the Bible all the time, right? I have my
Well,
specific moments in the day. Well, I mean, some go as far as that.
Mm.
I mean, we see them the Islam, the Muslims that have like
5 prayers a
a
day.
how many prayers a day? Yeah, and it's like a rule. I mean, maybe I don't follow my religion as strictly, but I don't find the need to.
And also,
But
many
it's
strands of Islam consider music itself, all music, haram, sin.
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. I mean, it's funny,
You're a
and you
sinner,
go to
even.
these you go to these countries, you go to Afghanistan, and yeah, music is prohibited. Like they I don't know what they'll do to you if they catch you listening to music, but yeah, it's very
Something
interesting.
bad.
Actually, I
It
did not
is.
know that.
It is. It is. Yeah.
It is absolutely crazy. And I agree. I think a lot of the time just shuffling a playlist on your phone, you can receive profound religious messages from the universe because if it's good songs, then there's songs that tap into the archetypal structures that are shared by all humans.
Yeah, I mean, I think every single song actually taps into the archetypal structure in one way or another. I mean, it's funny because I feel like not many people see music in this way, right? People kind of just listen to music and don't really question why am I listening to music? Why is music so good, right? Or why is music so bad and I don't like listening to music? And it seems like music affects all of us in this very primordial way. And
It does.
I find it very valuable to like actually stop and try to think about it and try to think why do I like to listen to music that I like to listen. Like for me, my favorite artists have become like the apostles in my own Bible. You know, like I listen to this one artist and I get obsessed and I just try to learn as much as I can from him and try to implement their own quotes into my own life. And this has really resulted in a purposeful life for me. I mean, I'm young. I don't know what it will be in the future, but I feel if I keep doing this, my life will be okay. And I think the same can be done with religion, like the actual considered religions, with Christianity, with Judaism, with it. I mean, we come back to purpose, right? I think purpose is the key word in here.
Yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
question,
Go ahead.
but it has nothing to do with this, so it maybe add to what he was saying before it.
I mean, I was just gonna say like these archetypal structures that give us purpose, that we discussed in the last podcast, they are religious stories. They are the stories of the creator God, which can be any of us, diving into the dark, the sea, the unknown, and battling a dragon, a snake of chaos to retrieve some sort of treasure. Every major story follows that line. That's the what one can think of it as a fundamental archetype. And so, yeah, these two subjects are very intertwined. Choice, value, archetypes, and religion. They are deeply interconnected. But what was your question? And
How far do religions, I mean, how far do role models in religions go? Because Ian said that he has these artists that he looks up to. These are like role models. I could say that Jesus is a role model. It's something that this religion has that everyone should be like this person or empathize with this person, right? And they're humans. The role models from religion, like the Buddha, for example, was also a human. These are not gods, no? And is this a form of of is this also part of the core concepts of religion, or is this part of the institute trying to dictate how people act?
I try to think of it as
Institution.
something more core. Like
Mm-hmm.
we we need a navigational system, something like an algorithm or a map of virtues, maps of meaning. Shout out Jordan Peterson. uh, that we can use to navigate life. And when you see a story of a person like the Buddha, like Christ, what that is giving is it's giving. What that is is a map. It's a narrative map of how you can do what's best. So, for example, with the Christ archetype, the most fundamental thing is the crucifixion. It's the willing confrontation with death and cruelty. And that, man, it's a terrifying thing to contemplate. Like, what if that is the best you can do with your life? That's a terrifying idea. Again, shout
Mhm.
out Jordan Peterson, he would agree.
Mhm.
With the Buddha, it's find as much wisdom as possible so that you can see the illusions, through the illusions of life, and through seeing those illusions, remove the suffering that is unnecessary from your life and the life of those around you. And that also seems like, yeah, like that. It's not as terrifying of a strategy as Jesus's, let's just say that. But it's a strategy, and it seems perfectly acceptable.
Yeah,
And
it seems like we need examples, right? And we need these bridges between the divine and the mere human world, right? We need these bridges to demonstrate how the archetypes affect us. And these bridges have to be human, right? They have to be these
Relatable.
characters that have been blessed by God in a certain way, or that have found this bridge between the divine and 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 what we are. And yeah, I think they're very important. But that also, like, coming back to the point of the institution, that kind of becomes also a medium for some people to take advantage, right? And to, I mean, I'm not gonna point into any religion, but that's what it seems that happens with the vast majority of religions, right? There is an institution, a group of people that find a way to, because gods and the archetype really tap into the vulnerability of the human being, right? They really dive deep into the into our own vulnerability. And if you have access to that, you have access to power, and you have access to control, and you have access to force. So it's also a very dangerous thing. It is definitely a very dangerous thing. But how would you portray it otherwise, right? You need these bridges. I don't know.
I mean, like maybe one way to prevent that use of institutional power and manipulation would be to teach people how to build their own bridges, how
You think
Yeah,
that's
to,
possible?
yes, yes, I
And
think,
people
it,
would,
it is. It definitely is.
but here's the thing: people like these groups, these big groups that believe in only one entity or only this specific group of entities. I think there's a big sense of community that comes out of this, and I do not think that people would switch into their own thing because that also creates rivalry. You know, my God is
Rebellion.
no,
rebellion
but wait, wait.
too.
You know what also provides community? Provides a narrative archetypal structure that is sound and reasonable, and that people can DIY the hell out of superheroes.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Superhero.
we have talked about it. Like, what are the Avengers but like a perfect archetypal structure, right? What are they but literally a Bible?
That's right.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah,
Would you
yeah.
say
And it's a
they're
Bible where
gods?
people can say like, "Hey, it would have been better if they actually changed this part and then this part," and it iterates way more successfully. Well, at least way more rapidly than the biblical stories do. Like how often do you get a new DC Comics universe every decade or so? It's like
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah, I mean, it's really funny. I've been watching The Big Bang Theory lately, and it's this one thing that doesn't seem to fit with the characters. You see Sheldon as this like bright-minded human that will never believe in God and will never waste his time, and because he's a science person, but still
He loves superheroes.
he loves superheroes, right? And he loves comics, and the same as his other friends, right? Who are fucking crazy geniuses, and but
One can say he
superheroes are,
follows them religiously. He
Yeah.
follows comics religiously. He is
yeah,
religious.
yeah, he is, he totally is, right? And it's not a religion of believing like, oh yeah, Superman is real and he's gonna come save me and my no, it's more relating to Superman, to this fictitious element, and saying like, Superman could, then I can too,
Yeah,
right?
they're the role model. They're the role model. Of
Exactly.
they protect the vulnerable against evil.
Now, what
Yeah,
we lose with that, with the superheroes, is we lose the illusion of, oh, that's real. That bridge man did real miracles and like actually died and
Like,
resurrected and da da
to
da da.
be honest, that's very difficult to nowadays with all the technology we have and
Yeah.
information availability. I do think that's easier to have achieved in the past where people did not know how gravity worked, you know.
Exactly. Uh, yeah, it's like that's the only answer I can think of, like sound superhero stories that show people these archetypal structures without the illusions and without the institutional power. Even if DC and Marvel still have institutional power over their superhero IPs, people do DIY stuff all the time, and there's other IPs. There's The Boys, there's Invincible, and I actually want to talk about that. The Boys. I find that one incredibly annoying because it provides people all the wrong role models. There are no heroes in the series.
What is the series
yeah,
about?
exactly.
What is it? I
The
never heard of
Oh,
Boys?
it.
let's
You
explain it.
describe it, Ian.
It's it's kind of a, I feel like a more realistic depiction of superhero heroes if they apply to actual politics and they actually apply to, so it kind of shows this wrong part of the superhero, right? These superheroes that are institutionalized and that have become this thing that is a raw role model, but it's not a right role model to follow because of the moral values of these heroes, right?
Can we say
Yeah.
So
they're I people superheroes?
Yes, absolutely.
yeah, that's, and
Okay.
you still have some stars, right? But the battle doesn't seem to have like a right side or a wrong side,
Yeah,
and
everyone's just an
it's
asshole.
yeah,
Okay.
because everyone kind of follows their own personal interests, right? There, it
Mhm.
doesn't seem like there's a character that has a more global interest. It's a very selfish depiction of
But
superheroes.
it's selfish in an I people way, in a Peter
I
Keating
mean, yeah,
kind of
Okay.
way.
exactly, yeah,
Okay.
So
Okay.
it's like I want to be the most famous and I'm going to screw over the other superheroes so that they're less famous. And yeah, they just do a bunch of
Yeah.
awful shit. It's no, I hate it. I
What
hate
is
it.
the appeal? What is the appeal to that? What why do
That
people look at
people, it's okay. There's
it?
people think that, well, if people had real superpowers, they would be corrupted by the evil capitalist system,
Oh, yeah.
and because of the
The
evil capitalist system and their evil superpowers, they would be evil, and people like that because
okay,
people,
okay. It's like I'm not like the other girls type of shit.
Yeah,
yeah, I'm not like the other superheroes. I'm
yeah.
bad.
Yeah, it kind of wrongly portrays the idea that evil will always have an advantage, right? That no matter what good does, evil is always gonna be there to screw it up. And evil is gonna be like the main driving force of society and it's true. I also don't think that is right. But it does make people believe it's right. And it's I mean it's again it's an archetype, right?
Right.
It's a constructed archetype structure that people follow and that people idolize, and it's interesting nevertheless. But
It's the complete deconstruction of an archetype. It's the complete removal of the role model so that it doesn't give you any navigational structure by which to do the good and succeed at the same time. That's
Mm.
all. Also, the same people that love the boys also generally love the new Batman movie because it's also like, oh my God, yeah, look, Batman, regular Batman, he's an asshole. We need to go back to like not back to. We need to transform him into this weird new Batman that's not about vengeance and it's not about these things. Because I mean, contrast the boys with Batman. He's a billionaire. By the boys' standards, that should already make him evil. He has no superpower, so he shouldn't be able to even go up against the Justice League or the Seven.
yeah,
And he beats up criminals, so of course he's bad. And that's what the new Batman movie portrays, and that's what the boys would try to portray. The normal Batman, the cool Batman, the real Batman, that gives you a narrative structure. That tells you you can succeed and you can use, for example, your monetary financial success for good. And you can, outside of that, also deter the sort of behavior that ruins communities and individuals' lives through crime
exactly. I
fighting.
mean, and you can still fight this system where as we said, where we in which we feel trapped in, right? Kind of under the force of the government, because Batman has never been seen as a good guy by the government, right? He's always being chased by the police. He is not a total hero. He's an anti-hero,
Right. There's
right?
only
So
there's only Commissioner Gordon that does work with him. But Commissioner Gordon has to like Spider-Man pull the whole world
I mean,
together
yeah, he
so
has
that
to
they
deal
don't
with all
prosecute
this
Batman.
stuff, yeah. But it gives you hope, right? It gives you hope. I think also especially because Batman wasn't. I feel like the new Batman, right? Um and the boys is not made for children, the same way Batman originally was thought to be. The new Batman and the boys are productions made for adults, for the mature public, right? For the public that is ready to see the reality of the world and of the society that we live in and I it's terrible, right? But
It's
I feel like
relatable. Yeah, it's
I
relatable
mean
for adults.
it
Children
is
don't know
relatable,
about capitalism. Children don't know about.
but then it makes
But
the
in
mature
Batman, the
public.
capitalist is the good guy. Like that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, and it makes
Iron Man too. Iron Man is also a good Captain. Ray
And
Palmer,
it,
the Atom. There's so many
yeah,
superheroes that are pro-capitalist, but that's exactly what the producers of The Boys, for example, are trying to destroy.
and it
Capitalism, good
also
guys? What the fuck?
it also kind of moves the idea that the mature public should not have role models, right? And should live by themselves as their own role model, because every single role model is corrupted by power. And that is completely wrong. I feel like everyone should have role models, and everyone should have access to a well constructed archetypal structure.
Yeah, and even if these role models aren't Jesus, or we're not saying that everyone should have a role model to have it, but you can create your own. You can have your own role model. It doesn't have to be no role model in raw dog life, just to mm, imagine your own. Exactly.
Yeah, but it seems like the institution of DC has kind of migrated into the same way the big institutionalization of religion has done, right? Kind of
Mhm.
changing the thing and taking advantage of the already established role models to kind of control and shift the view of the public into a different world that might not be ideal, or might not be the correct one to follow. Yeah, it's very interesting. It's very, very
Which,
interesting.
I mean, I've heard James Gunn is trying to fix that with the whole new DC universe. And he's trying to like bring it back to its roots and the real archetypal meat of it. I haven't seen the new Superman, so I can't really comment on that.
Yeah, no, me neither. Me
But
neither.
there's
Yeah.
hope. There's hope. Probably.
There's hope. Let's
Hopefully.
let's hope there's
Hopefully
hope.
there's hope.
Yeah. Let's have faith. Yeah.
Let's have faith in the DC masters, in the DC church, and in the Marvel church. Please get your act together, Marvel. What the fuck is happening? Oh no,
It's so
we started this
confusing, right? It's so
talking about
confusing. Yeah, no.
the old gods, and we moved on to sort of more and more modern conceptions, and now we're talking literally about the new comic book mythologies. This is it's a great arc. It's like, okay, what's
It's great.
next?
That's great. Yeah, yeah. That's it. What's next? What comes next? I mean, what is going to be the rise of the new religion, if there is going to be such thing?
I really hope it's not something related to brain rot.
Oh,
The
yeah,
Church of
yeah. Brain rot.
Stupidity.
This is just a whole
Because
new
if you think
different
of it,
schema.
How many times a day do you pray? Six, seven, something like that.
no. Or the new, I have no clue of brain rot. I'm very offline, okay? But
Yeah, same.
cappuccino,
Ballerina
cappuccino,
Cappuccina.
is
Yes,
that?
she
I
is the
don't.
new Mother Mary. Ballerina Cappuccina. We are going to get so much fucking hate. Oh,
Uh, yeah, no, I refuse to tap into that stuff. Like,
No.
but it's it's unavoidable. It's fucking everywhere.
I
Yeah,
hope
it's
it's like the 2000 phase of wearing two polo shirts, you know? I hope that it's at first laughed upon, then it's cool, and then it's laughed upon again till eternity.
okay.
yeah.
That's what I hope.
People used to wear two polo shirts.
Yes, in the 2000s or in the 80s. I think it was in the 90s actually. I don't know, but they
What?
used to like layer polo shirts, and it was like the coolest thing ever.
Really?
It was a
Oh
fashion
shit.
trend, yes.
Yeah.
I can't even get the collar on this shit right. What the fuck?
And they had to straighten the collar. They had layers. I
Fucking
don't
Lex Luthor ass outfit.
know.
Oh man.
I also kind of wanted to talk about now that we before we started shifting into Marvel, which I don't really know much about, um, that the I didn't create, but like I follow a life philosophy that has a bit to do with gods too. That is kind of, I believe in whatever, in Murphy's law. You know, anything can be possible. Everything will happen at some point. And I wanted to ask if that is a life philosophy, or if that could become a religion. Like, what defines a religion parting from a life philosophy? Like, what is the difference between those two?
I think it is the role model thing, the archetype thing. Like there, and probably like for it to be, wait, no, that's actually a really good question because I can think of like a bunch of attributes, but I can think of a bunch of exceptions to each of the attributes.
Mhm.
They're like
Yeah,
maybe
and
a
I think
supernatural
it's
element, but like some religions don't have a supernatural element. Uh, It can be the whole narrative archetype thing. That seems to be the most stable thing, but then by that definition, it's not an exception, but we also include all of the superhero stuff as a religion. Uh, so maybe it has to
I
be like the narrative structure thing, but it also has to be considered real. Maybe that's a religion. Like thinking that archetypal structures are a real thing
I
and
would
following
say
specific.
I would say religions kind of form or break from life philosophies,
Mhm.
right? With this idea of Murphy's law, the idea that anything that can happen will happen and probably is happening, and therefore, and therefore my decisions affect me and blah 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 blah. I don't know how you would. I feel like you can see Murphy's law as this power, as this above power, as this god, right? And draw the bridges and draw the role models from the people that surround you and the people that you look forward to, and understand how these people apply to this to this primordial to this primordial thing that you believe in, and that you rule your life from. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yes,
I
but
think you could
also,
even apply Murphy's law to the biblical stories. Like, oh, how was David able to, why did David kill Goliath? Well, he was able to. Whatever can happen will happen. It's like,
Yeah,
okay, yeah, but that doesn't, it's like trying to build a house with only a brick. It's
yeah,
like, okay,
I didn't explain myself well. I didn't want to rant about what I think of,
rent.
because it's complicated and I do not concentrate well, but I will try. The it all began when Ian and I were having this conversation about Schrödinger's cat theory, the Schrödinger's experiment. I don't know how it's called.
yeah, yeah.
And
The Schrodinger's cat. Yeah, the
exactly,
famous.
which Ian will explain right now.
I mean, yeah. It's. I
Just
think.
out
I
of
think.
nowhere.
I think a lot of people are familiar with it, but for the sake of who might not be, yeah, it's this idea where you put a cat in a box, right? And there is a valve that can or cannot inject poison into the box, right? And you can't know if the valve injected or not poison until you open the box and see the cat. So that means that while the box is closed, the cat is both alive and dead, and neither of them, and I mean,
And just a little
Yeah.
add-on, uh, Schrodinger posed the whole cat dead and alive at the same time thing as an example of why certain quantum theories are ridiculous. Like his
Exactly.
idea
So
wasn't that there is a cat that's dead and alive at the same time. His idea was under these theories that would be the case, and that cannot be the case. So what the fuck?
yeah, well, what I took from that is that we can never know until we see, right? We see in first person. You can believe the person who saw the cat and believe that the cat is alive because he told me that he saw the cat and it was alive, right? But if I don't see the cat, I will never actually know if there is a cat and if it was alive. And actually, who cares? I do not care about that cat. Does it affect me if it's alive or dead? Therefore, I can think whatever I want about the cat. Will it affect others? Will it affect myself? Therefore, I can think what I want. Is that cat, if that cat being alive makes me personally more happy and it does not affect mm, my future or past or anyone else around me, then I will think that the cat is alive because it doesn't affect me. And that's kind of what I'm going for with my life philosophy. If it makes me more happy to think that the sky, like in the sky there is an airplane, and I think, that is an alien. And does it affect me if it's an alien? Or I mean, if it's an alien, it will affect me. But like, does it affect me if I think that it's an alien? No, then I think it's an alien. It's fun. It's actually very fun, and that's not a religion, right?
It is not a religion. No, I think
Called
that's
Right. You
delusion.
can see, or the way you look at religions, right? Like
hmm?
it gives you the freedom to believe in whatever religion you want to believe. So
Oh,
without
oh.
Just gradually
There we
silent.
go. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Is that good?
Yes, that's perfect.
Okay. You have the freedom to believe in any religion that you want or you can believe, right? And religion that exists, or the freedom to even create your own religion. And it kind of, that is Linda, it kind of breaks you away from the force imposed by other authorities, right? The force
Mm.
imposed by the institution, the force imposed by that dictate that you should believe this and this and this because it's good for you. It gives you the freedom to understand what is good for you and what is not good for you by your own criteria, and I think that's very valuable. It might not be a religion as so, but it is a very valuable of a way of looking at reality, I think. I
Mhm.
mean, as long as it doesn't like go out of control and you start deluding and believing that, I
There
don't
are
know.
gnomes in my salad.
Yeah, and start making like a big fuss about it and actually making people worried about it. I mean,
No, of course.
yeah,
No,
yeah.
we wouldn't want that. No, would we?
Oh no, 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 no! It sounds fun, but it really isn't.
There are gnomes in my
It's not.
garden.
It's
Yeah, no. But yeah, I mean,
It's parte.
this is so unhinged. Okay, so what's the conclusion, guys? What the fuck are gods?
Believe in everything that makes you happy.
yeah, and it brings
Well,
the correct values to your life, right?
Exactly.
Believing in anything that makes you happy, and that,
Doesn't
I
disturb
think,
anyone.
and
I'd say the most fun. No, sometimes gods are disturb other people, definitely. Islam. But I would say gods are just the most foundational archetypal values in human form, personified.
Wait, wait. Do you think gods are essential to humanity? Will they always exist?
Yes.
and always believed on.
Yes. Yes. Oh, yes.
We all agree on that.
No,
Yeah.
agree on that.
I think with the advancement of science, things might start clearing up, and the idea of the gods might start to clear up and take a different form to what it has throughout history. It will change. It will definitely change, maybe for better, maybe for worse, but I think the archetypes are always going to be there. Like, it's something that we need. We need role models, and we need to understand what's right and what's wrong.
Yeah,
It's
and also in science, the more you know less than you think you know.
The
In
more you know,
science,
the more you know what you don't know.
exactly. The more you know, the more you know, the less you act. No, the more
I think it comes through. I think it
Yeah,
there
we
is
comes
a
get we
through.
get
phrase
Don't
there.
worry
though.
about
There's a
it.
phrase.
Yeah.
There's a phrase. Well, okay, whatever. Yeah, we all get it.
Well,
Subscribe and
like and
like
subscribe.
and subscribe again.
Bye bye.
Bada bing, bada boom. Bing bong.